I don't need to introduce what Monkie Kid is anymore, but I'll do it anyways for those who still somehow don't know what Monkie Kid is despite watching my videos. So, Monkie Kid is an action show created by the LEGO Group based on the story of the Journey to the West. So, if you're wondering, what's up with the title of the video? Would it just been just as confusing as your questions? Well, let me just say, Monkie Kid may have had an identity crisis on what kind of show it wanted to be for a bit. They may have found what their footing is now, but in the early seasons, it was kind of noticeable. So, let me explain. When Monkie Kid first premiered in 2020, they released two 22-minute pilots or a single 45-minute pilot, depending on where you live. But it's very clear that the way it was intended to be made was two 22-minute episodes as the pilot. Now, at first watch, it made the whole experience seem extremely fast-paced, which made sense since it was just 40 minutes worth of story. And Ninjago already did the same thing with its pilots, having two 22-minute episodes or four 11-minute episodes, depending on where you live. Okay, I think I might know what the problem is right now, but this all seemed pretty normal at first. 22 minutes of TV every week. That sounds like a great time, especially with the animation quality presented here. But that was probably a lot to expect, because like Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle having 22 minutes for special occasions, Monkie Kid did the same, because animation is pretty expensive. So, when Season 1 premiered in its entirety, I was a little shocked to find out that the actual episodes are only like 11 minutes long. And now at first, I actually had somewhat of a problem with this, because as fast-paced as the pilots were, the 22-minute per episode format was responsible for being able to fit everything that was in the pilot and allowed it to flow as well as it did. So having that runtime per episode to be cut down to 11-minute episodes made me think that this could have hindered the story of the episodes. And in a way, they did. And I was so shocked. I thought Monkie was gonna be 22 minutes long and that would be so cool, but no, it went to 11 minutes. So aside from the animation and story were concerned, there was kind of nothing to worry about, and it was all pretty fine and dandy, following a Monster of the Week format for the show. It was unexpected, but an acceptable change, as the episodes were still fun and seemed very typical of any action show that premiered. You were bound to get these episodes that feature side adventures that don't really affect the main plot of the season that much, and that was fine. It still eventually built up to the season finale, ending in a cliffhanger for the next season. Though not in the best way, it was at least satisfactory, maintaining its high-octane animation from the pilot while splicing in mundane episodes that never get old in other shows, since we were already getting very used to Ninjago's straight-to-the-point storytelling method, so it was nice to get something that wasn't a self-contained story per season package. So an unexpected turn, but an acceptable one. But we move on to Season 2. So, Season 2 starts with the release of the special, The Revenge of the Spider Queen, which felt pretty normal at first, but 11 minutes into the special, there was a black screen that was placed to transition to the next scene, and not in a very smooth way either. That's when I realized that these 45-minute specials were just 4 episodes of the season sewn together, which leads me to the conclusion that every time during Monkie Kid's production, there are periods of indecisiveness among the showrunners. As with the Season 2 special, they were clearly designed with being separate episodes in mind, along with the Season 3 and Season 4 specials. Though the later specials were a lot more smoothly transitioned to be 40-minute specials, it is still very clear that they were intended to be individual episodes, along with a decided format change of what kind of tone and story progression they wanted to take. With Season 1 being the episodic era of Monkie Kid, having episodes of just being Monster of the Week adventures, while Season 2 is the in-between era, with the first half of the season being episodic and the second half taking a more serialized turn, while sneaking in some mundane episodes that somewhat connect to the main plot. And starting with Season 3, this is when the show decided to shift to a full serialized, find the next MacGuffin, or in a way, storytelling method that Ninjago uses for its show format now. Monkie Kid may differ from Ninjago at this time by being serialized while Ninjago had self-contained seasons. Monkie Kid took a page from Ninjago's book and went full MacGuffin mode, having the next seasons premiering all be MacGuffin stories. Season 3 with the Rings of Samadhi, Season 4 with the Monkie Kid crew and the artifacts of the Great Companions, and Season 5 being the 5 colored stones of Nuwa. And going with this format was probably the best thing Monkie Kid has ever done, because it works extremely well. With not a lot of time per season, you can't really waste it on Monster of the Week episodes, especially if your show with an ongoing plot and typical episode order of only 14 11-minute episodes or less, which is why the story just keeps getting better. The more time familiarizing themselves with the format, they got better with it. Season 3 was a bit bumpy, being the first season to use this format, which resulted in the season having a main antagonist confusion. Season 4 was a straight to the point season, immediately jumping in, quite literally. And Season 5 being the pinnacle of Monkie Kid stories despite the production troubles is proof enough of that. My point is that the indecisiveness of the early seasons of Monkie Kid is the reason why the first 2 seasons were not the most fond of among fans. The whiplash in what type of show that Monkie Kid wanted to be at the time was very prevalent, and though the quality of the episodes were good on its own, juggling multiple genres of television is always going to be noticeable, and will get some negative feedback from some people. Which is why Season 11 of Ninjag was not that favorable. Having too much conflicting tones and plot points, along with the episodes that don't contribute anything to the story, were some of the reason why this season was so disliked. Though Monkie Kid never really drifted that deep into that level of confusion, but it still had its own fair share of an identity crisis of what it wanted to be during its early years. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video, and I'm glad to say that I am back and will probably start posting weekly again. Though I can't guarantee that. By the time this video comes out, I'll probably be done with my finals, and then I'll be graduating to college. So, hurrah for me! But yeah, thanks for watching. Click on the videos recommended up here, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Whenever that is.